Hello, everyone, and welcome along to this webinar. In this webinar, I will get into the details of how you can set up your property cash flow using the Lendlord platform. And we will start with the agenda for today. So as a first step, really briefly, I will touch how you can create your first property or you can add a new property. So we'll have like a baseline for the entire demonstration. After that, we'll see how you can define rent payments schedule. And this is very important if you want also to track the rent and review the rent collection from all of your tenants and tenancies. After that, we'll see how you can set up your cash flow history. So basically on Lendlord, you can save up to 5 years of history. You don't have to, but I will show you how you can do it quite easily. Then we touch how you can set up recurring income and expenses. So if you have income expense that you are expecting to get every month and you want to use this automation, you can do it. The other option is this is the next topic, is how you can link your bank account or your accounting software. Currently we support Xero. And by that we'll touch the next point, is to automate the ongoing income and expenses. We'll touch also how you can review some of our reports. One of them is the profit and loss statement, and how you can review your expenses and income breakdown. And in the end, we'll have like session for questions and answers. And as I said in the beginning, if you have questions, feel free to put them on the chat. So let's start. I will do the demo on my demo account. So this is the main dashboard. I will start with how you can add your first property. So the best place to manage all of your property details on Lendlord is the My Portfolio page. It contains the details on almost any segment of the property. And the way to do it is either by clicking Add Property, and then you will have the right sidebar. And here you can enter all the details. If you maintain a spreadsheet of properties, you can also upload them using the Upload Portfolio CSV functionality. Here you can upload your spreadsheet. You need to save it as a CSV file. It's very easy to do it from Microsoft Excel, for instance, using the file Save As. And then you can just map your columns and your spreadsheet to our columns in the platform and upload the portfolio. I will not show it now, but we have a great video how you can do it. We can attach it to the link to on YouTube that you will receive tomorrow. So let's start with just adding for our cash flow tracking a property. So you can start with an address, then the date of purchase. Let's take it from 2017, for instance. The purchase price, the estimated property value, rental income, and this is enough for our example. Of course, you can also take care of the ownership, is it private or company, but this is not for this webinar. So in the general section, this is what I will enter today. In the mortgage fields, let's put just for the example, original mortgage balance and current mortgage balance. Let's keep it the same. It's interest only mortgage. And let's put the rate, the current rate. And let's say that I pay $250 per month. So of course that if you want to manage many other details and all of the due dates, you have all of these sections to put data in. But for our webinar, this is enough. So I will click done. So this property was added, and I now am going to the next topic in the webinar. So for the presentation, so I showed how you can create your first property. Next thing is to define my rate payments schedule. How I do that? So after I added the property, I will go to add tenant and tenancy, or I can close this window and I can go from the menu, click my tenants. And on my tenants page, this is the place to manage the tenants details and tenancy details. It's very simple and very similar to what I did with the properties. I click add tenant, and in the right sidebar, I can start entering the details. So just for this example, I would put James. I'll ignore the details right now. It's not so important. I need to attach it to a property. So basically, I want to attach it to the property that we just defined. So just to be sure, I want to see which property was it. So this is a property 345. So I go back, add tenant, put the name. I will attach it to a property. If it's an HMO, you can also mention a unit, and you can open many units per one property. I need to decide on the tenancy start date. So let's say he started in January 2021. Let's take it from July 1st, and the tenancy end date is July 2022. With the rent payment of this tenant, the frequency of the payments, that's put monthly, and when I'm expecting to receive the first payment day. So here I'm basically editing an historical tenancy. So I put it July 2021. I can also define rent payment review, and let's say that I want to review it annually. So I will get a reminder. Then you can put the security details, deposit, if there is a guarantor, but this is less relevant to our webinar. So I will click now, done. And we have the tenancy created, James. And the next step is to review the payment schedule. So the platform created it for you, and you can review it on the rent collection page that can be accessed for my tenants. You can also hover over the tenant row, and then you will see the actions on the right side. I will click rent collection. So you can see that I have payments in October, but I want to review before I start tracking the income and expenses, the entire payments that the platform has created. So I'm going back to January 21. Basically, we started in July, the tenancy. I can actually just mark July, and I will take it to the end of the tenancy, December. So basically, I see that I have 6 payments that the platform has created. So it's very important before you start tracking your income and expenses or link your bank account to make sure that all the tenancies are in place and you have the payment schedule for each tenant/tenancy. And you are happy with the dates, with the expected payment. And if you are not happy, you can click on the edit and just change the date. So let's say that this specific payment I'm expecting only on the 3rd, you can change it. Also, you can change the amounts and click save. If there is like a specific payment that is not here, you can add payment, and attach it to a tenant. And of course, you can also delete payment. So basically, the platform will create for you a payment schedule, but you can edit and tweak it afterwards. And click save. So I explain how you can define rent payments schedule, and we go to the next step, how you set up the cash flow history, your cash flow history. So for that, I will go to the profit and loss page. So we define the property on my portfolio, we define the tenants and tenancy on my tenants, we access the rent collection page to see the payment schedule. Now I'm going to the profit and loss. You will see a pop-up showing up because you have now a property without a history. So now you need to decide what is the method you want to choose to fulfill the history. And basically it also will be affected to the future. So how you're going to track your ongoing income and expenses from now on. So you can either link your bank account or you link Xero or define recurring income and expenses. Now, even if you want to link your bank account afterwards, you can click define recurring income and expenses because this will help you arrange the history of this property. So I click proceed. And then I have some data that came from the data that I enter my portfolio. So I see that there is rental monthly income of 800. The default is the from month is the month that I purchased the property. But let's say that I had until 2020 just rent payment of 750, and I increase the rent in the year after. So I can click add period. I will copy this, and then I put 800, and I will put August 2020 to October 2021. Here in this checkbox, in this column, you can mark if you want it as a recurring. What it means that for the income expenses that ended in October 2021, the platform will carry it over for you every month. I'm actually, I don't recommend to do it because perhaps you prefer not let the platform copy the income expense for you, but to track it as you receive the income and expenses, and then you can be on top of your cash flow. So you can leave it empty, like unchecked, and then basically track it by yourself. For this example, I would also copy it until September because I want to keep October free. And the same for expenses. So I have a mortgage monthly cost expense. Let's say it was from October 2017 to 2021. And let's say I had insurance. I paid it monthly, let's say 12 pounds from October 17 to October 2021. And here is the place to add other income or expenses that related to the history only. If you want to add like a one time, you can just create an expense or income and do it from the same month to the same month. So from May 2021 to from May 2021 to May 2021, and then it will be tracked only once. So if it was like a one-time income or expense. This is one way to do it, but you can do everything easily, like more easy if you want to track specific income or expenses from the transactions page. So I will delete this. Now click apply. And I will now select this property. Okay, so I see that I have the expenses tracked. Mortgage payment. Okay, so it's sorry. I think that for some reason I track the monthly rental as an expense, not as an income. So I will, but it's a good example to show you how you can fix the history if something went wrong. So in order to fix the history, what I'm going to do now is I will edit it. I first want to delete it to the history. So I put 0 here. I will use the copy expenses backwards. I will check the monthly rental and I will take it to the entire history. So now it disappeared and I will delete it. And then I will go to the monthly income. I'll click edit. I'm going to the last month, September. I will add the monthly rental, 800, done. And I will copy this income backwards. So this is another way to arrange your history. So if you don't receive the pop-up, you can do it like this. So in this example, I didn't started with the 750 just for the example. So now I have income and expenses for the entire history. The best way to see it is on the top of the chart, you can see the monthly figures. So you can see the cash flow in August 2021. Below the chart, you have the annual figures. So if I click on 2020, I can see that in January 2020, it was 538, but in the entire, the net cash flow was 6,456. This was the income. This was the monthly expenses in 2020. The gross yield, the net yield, that is basically just the net cash flow on the entire purchase cost, and the cash on cash. So of course that if you arrange your history, this data should be accurate. And if you link your bank account and basically retrieve the historical transactions, you can also fill the history from the transactions page. I will show an example immediately, soon. Another important thing, because if we are in this screen for you to take into account, is the baseline of the cash investment. So in this property 345, I have cash invested 200K. Why is it? Because the purchase costs are now tracked of 450 and the original mortgage 250. But perhaps I had other purchase costs when I purchased the property. So I click edit on the purchase costs. Then I can see that I basically had, you have an option to add the other costs that I had when I purchased the property. So let's say that I had legal cost that I paid. And you can also put the pay date, the exact pay date that you paid it. Let's say I did some kind of refurbishment. Okay, so let's say I paid there all in once, just for the example, in October 18th. So you can see that the cash investment is going up, and this will affect your cash on cash. So if you see like what was the cash on cash on 2020, it was the entire net cash flow 2020 on the cash investment. This is the cash on cash. The yield, the gross yield is the rental income on the entire purchase costs on this number. And the net yield is just the net cash flow on the purchase costs. So this is like the three metrics that you can track for this property and for all properties together. Or if you manage more than one company, for instance, you can see just for a specific company. In this case, I don't have it in this account, but you can do it. So this is the section about the history from the profit and loss with recurring income and expenses.
Aviram,
yes. Yeah, different.
Good evening, everyone. It's Nick here. Aviram, Lucy has got a good question here.
Yes.
It's popped up. She says, can she set, or can we set the mean year for us personally? In other words, not from January to December.
Yes. But unfortunately not in this page right now, but we have it in the backlog and we might release it soon. The best way to see it, and we have an item in the agenda for that, is the estimated profit and loss. So here you have the last tax year and you can basically go to the current tax year and review your income and expenses based on what you tracked. So this is the best way to do it right now if you want to see the tax year. But we understand that you want to see it also here. So if you want to see the tax year summary in a more visual way, so it's in our roadmap. Hopefully we'll release it soon. We'll update you. But good point.
Okay, thanks for that. I hope that answers your question, Lucy.
Okay, so another way to track your history is from the transactions page. So in the transactions page, I will show how you can link your bank account, or if you maintain your bookkeeping on Xero, how you can link your Xero account and get all the reconciled transactions. And then you can basically retrieve 1 year, 2 years history and allocate all of the transactions from here, so it will appear on the profit and loss. I will show now how you do it on an ongoing basis, but it's very similar also if you want to track the history. It just takes more time. So if you want to set up the account, you need to invest 1-2 hours to retrieve all the transactions and allocate all of them. You can also upload a spreadsheet with all the income and expenses in a CSV format, and also you will have all of them in the transactions page and you can allocate. So I show how you can handle your cash flow history. It's either from the pop-up that you saw, or from the copy expenses backwards, or copy income backwards. I also showed how you can set up recurring income and expenses, but there is another way to do it. So how you can set up your recurring income and expenses: go to the profit and loss page, go to the last month, pick the property that you want to work on, let's say 65. So I want first the income, so I click on the income button and I click edit. So I have here a monthly rental, and you see it's a recurring income. And when you see recurring, it means that the platform in November will copy it automatically. Not sure you want it. So if you don't want the platform to copy it for you, and you want to track it just when you receive the income, click edit and just uncheck the recurring income. Okay. And if you want the platform to make it automatically tracked, just click the checkbox down. The best practice is not to check it as a recurring, because then it will not be connected to your payment schedule. So I recommend to do it month by month or every week, just to allocate all the transactions that you had in the last week, and people that have time even like every day just to finish with it. But if you want, of course, you can use the automation and use the platform to carry on your income and expenses. You can do the same for expenses, click edit and use the checkbox if you want the recurring, and if not, just uncheck it. So this is the way to define recurring income and expenses. Now, let's go to how you can link your bank accounts. So if you have more than one bank account, you can also do it. So I will go to the transactions page and I will explain. So Lendlord is connected to Plaid. Plaid is a provider that implemented the open banking. It is a regulated activity by the FCA, and Plaid has the license for that. And Lendlord is an agent of Plaid, and Lendlord also got the approval from the FCA to be an agent of Plaid. So everything is under regulation, and we received our approval to allow our users to connect their bank accounts in a secure way. We don't keep your credentials, of course, like all the authentication process is outside to Lendlord, and we just get a read only permission to your bank account. So basically every day, once you connect your bank account, every day, the platform will retrieve automatically the new transactions from your bank account, and you will see them on the transactions page. Or when you log in, you will have a wizard. You can use it or not. Don't worry, if you just cancel the pop-up, you will see everything on the transactions page. It will not disappear. But you need to keep in mind that the platform will do it for you. If you want to do one-time retrieve, I will show you how you do it, but you can do it as well. The other option is to link your accounting software, Xero. And here, basically, you just need to put your credentials to Xero. We did it together with Xero, with their API. And then you will receive all the reconciled transactions from Xero, and you can allocate them to specific properties to track the performance of the properties. There are landlords that will not use accounting software, just link the bank account and will manage the bookkeeping on Lendlord. It's also possible. And soon we are working on it. You will have integration to the HMRC to file your tax returns from Lendlord. So basically, mainly for landlords with not so large portfolios, they can manage all their bookkeeping on Lendlord. They will be able. So how I can link a bank account? I click on link bank account. Then, so this is already applied the API. Click continue. You will have a list of all the UK banks. They support almost all of them. I think that there are very few that are missing. And you can search for a specific bank, click on the icon of the bank, and then when you click continue, it will be redirected to the Tide, or this example, bank account website. This is the same website for you to put your credentials, and if it's using a QR code, you can put it. And then I will not do it now. After you link, you basically create authentication by putting your credentials. The connection will be created between Lendlord to your bank account. So basically, at this point, we will have a read-only access to your bank account. I will exit this because I'm not going to connect now a bank account. But after you connect your bank account, you will receive a pop-up that will ask you how much history you want to retrieve. So you can retrieve whatever the bank allows. You know what, just for the recording, I will go to the agenda because we want to put links to specific items. So I showed how you can link your bank accounts, and I also showed, so before we go to the transaction, let's see how you can link your accounting software, currently Xero. So I will go to the transactions page again. I click link bank account because I already linked one. I will click continue, and then if you haven't linked your bank account, you will see only this pop-up. You click link to Xero, and you will be redirected to Xero website. You need to put your credentials, click login, and the connection will be created to Lendlord. So how to automate my ongoing income and expenses?
So before you go there, Aviram,
Yes.
got a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
One, I'll go back a couple and said, back on the profit and loss page, can that be downloaded as a PDF?
There are not as a PDF currently. What you can do is either, if you click on the share, it should take a picture of the page. Okay, so you need to click on the share button here, and then you can send it as an email.
Got it.
Okay, so this is one just to get this picture. It's not a PDF report, but it's like
The form of report.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can also export all this data to Excel, and you need just to select the properties you want to export, the period, and just mention what you want, the purchase cost, the monthly income or monthly expenses, all of them together. Click export, and you will have a spreadsheet with all the data. In Lendlord, the data is exportable. On the profit and loss, on my portfolio, you can also export the data, and also in the reports.
Okay, thank you for that. And the next question is with respect to connecting, you illustrated to Xero.
Yes.
Can Lendlord connect to Free Agent?
I believe this is like another accounting software for
It
agents.
is, yes, yes, it is.
So, so currently we started with the pilot just with Xero because we understood from our users that this is the common one, but we know that there are users that use QuickBooks and Sage and others. So it's like in the roadmap. It really depends on how you see like the usage and we prioritize. So Nick, if you, I actually, this specific software is not in our list. So Nick, if you can take some notes and write it down. So basically we can add it to the roadmap, but currently we don't support this software.
Yeah, okay. So basically what we're saying is in time,
Yes.
if it's appropriate, then we will be doing it. Yeah, okay. I hope that answers everyone's question so far. Okay, please carry on, everyone.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, so how you can automate your ongoing income and expenses. So every time you log into the platform, so let's say that you connected your bank account or your Xero account, you will receive a pop-up. There are new transactions. And basically see that you have now 4 new transactions to allocate. I will hit continue, and then I will start to receive the transactions from my bank account. This is just demo data. So you see like there is unknown bank here, so just for the example. So I received £800 from James. Now I need to allocate it. This is the first time I received this transaction. So I'm going to allocate it to 345, and this is the payment for October 1st. So I need to select in the payment drop down, James, October 1st, 800. Now, before I click allocate, I need to decide, is it a one-time payment or a recurring transaction? If I select the recurring transaction, then the platform next time will identify this transaction, and we use the similarity algorithm. So we will see if the description is similar, the amount is similar, then the platform will allocate it automatically for you next month, or next time it will see this transaction to this property and to this tenant / tenancy, okay? But if you don't want the platform to do it, just click one-time payment. Or if it's something that actually was like a one-time payment. In this case, I will click recurring and you click allocate. In this case, it alert, I receive alert in the property list. We already, if you remember, we already tracked some rental value on the profit and loss for the example from last time. And it was just, for the example. So I will override it. And I will receive the next transaction. Okay, now it's an expense, £250. It's my mortgage payment. I also think that, yeah, this is a recurring. I'm expecting to receive this income every second of a month. So I will allocate this income to 345. The platform already identified that this is categorized as a mortgage costs. But if I want, I can change the category. And by the way, this is the place also in this drop down to change the category. So if you can click edit. So in terms of accounting fees, you want to name it differently, you can do it here. You can also select a different color if you want. You can add a new category. So if we actually miss the category that you want, you can just add a new category and select the color, click save. And you can also delete the category by clicking edit and click on delete. So for this transaction, I will categorize as a mortgage cost. There is another checkbox that you need to pay attention, like allocate it as a purchase cost. What does it mean? It means that if you have a capital expense, let's say that you replace the kitchen, the entire kitchen, like in one transaction, and you want to attribute it to your cash investment of the property and not to the ongoing expenses, you just need to check this, and then you will see it on your purchase costs. So I allocate now this expense. My next transaction is my landlord insurance, £12. It's also recurring, and this is for the same property. And here I need to choose a category. I will choose insurance. allocate. Now I have a small repair. This was a one-time payment in October 9, and I will use 345 again. I will categorize it as a repairs and click allocate. Well done, I allocated 4 transactions. Now look, if you don't want to do it from the wizard, you can click on the X here and do it from the transactions page. It will be there. Now, if I want to track what I did, I go to the transactions page, to the transactions log. And in transactions log, I can see all the recent transactions and what happened with them. So it was like automatically, it's if either the first time you marked it as a recurring income or next month, you will see it here that it was tracked automatically. If you're not happy with the allocation of the platform, you can click revert and it will show up again on the transactions page. So you can reallocate. You can see the audit of all the transactions when you allocate it manually, automatically, and you can revert back. Now let's go to the profit and loss again. I will choose the property 345. And you can see that I have now rent James that we allocated. Now, this is now auto-allocated. So this is the place that you know, like if you see this label, that this specific transaction will be tracked again in November. In the monthly expenses, I will see the landlord insurance, the mortgage payment, insurance, and small repair. So here, if you recall, we tracked before also like insurance in the example, so I will just delete it. Okay, so this was like how you can automate the transactions and basically the income and expenses. And now after if you recall, we just track the rent from James. I will go now to the rent collection page. And you can see that in October now, James is tracked. So the rent, because we just received the transaction from the bank account, so we see that already in October, we had 800 that was paid. If you have overdue, you will receive notifications to your email and also to this sidebar. And you can send a reminder to your tenant. If you put the email address on the tenancy, it will be a default here, but you can just type the email. And you can send a message. You can edit this message that he has a delay and you're expecting him to pay. And of course, this is if you manage the property by yourself. If you just want to track the work of the letting agent, you can do it as well. You can also split a transaction, but this we have some good videos for that. Perhaps we can demonstrate it in the next webinar. So let's go to the next point. Nick, we have some questions, or should we continue?
Okay, so now we've got any questions directly associated with this. We do have one that's worthy of asking though. Lucy wants to know just quickly, if you had a change of ownership from an existing property, which means if it went from a private ownership to a company ownership, can we do that?
Yes, you just need to go to my portfolio, hover over the property row. So 345, the property that we just added, is currently on private ownership. On the actions from the right side, I will click edit. And then in the first section of general fields, you have ownership. So I will change it from private to company. And then I will select from the list of companies. If I haven't defined the company yet, I click create new company. I put the name of the company. And then I allocate this property to company A. Click done. You will see this icon here. And now this is on company ownership. And I can also now play with the filter. So if I want to see just the company properties or just company A property, it's very easy to review a sub-segment of the portfolio.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, let's continue to the next point, how to review my profit and loss statement. So from the profit and loss page, click on estimated P&L report. So here you have a list of all of your properties with their income and expenses per category. We specified 5 main categories, but all the others will be on the other column. And here you can see the profit before tax and the estimated profit after tax. And it's estimated because it's based on engine calculations. It's not replacing your accountant, but if you track all the transactions and you put like accurate data, it should be quite accurate. The default is the last tax year, but of course you can take it to the current tax year. Just for the example, we take it to October. And then you can also see the breakdown. So if I want to see the entire income in this period of 65 London Wall, I will click on this blue link and I will go to the incomes breakdown report. And here basically I can see the payment date, the property, the description, the amount, and I can also upload the invoice or receipt that I want to store and I can download it afterwards. I can also, if I'm here already, I can play with the filters and see the incomes of other properties or the entire properties. So this also can be tweaked when you work on this report. Now, for expenses, it's the same. So if I want to see just the mortgage costs of this property, I will click on this blue link. And here, this is the expenses breakdown report. And now just the mortgage interest and the mortgage cost categories are checked. But if I want to see the entire categories, I will select all of them. And if I want to see it for a different period, I can also play with that. And if I want to see for the entire properties, I can also see. So here you can see on what you spend the money for this period and for this property and or for the entire properties. You can see the specific expenses and you can, again, upload receipts. And if you use it from our mobile app, you can just picture it and it will be uploaded and stored on your Lendlord account. If you want to see the expenses breakdown for a specific company, you can do it as well. For this specific the account, I don't have expense on the company level, but this is just for the private properties that I have. So you can play with the filters if you want to break down it more. So this is the estimated profit and loss statement. So here you can see your basically situation in terms of the actual profit you are going to make on each property, on the entire portfolio, on a specific company. If you want to see how we calculate the tax, click on estimated tax report, and you will see the breakdown of how we came up with your net profit after tax. And for the properties on company ownership, you will see a different breakdown because the taxation is different. You can upload all of these reports to Excel and get all the numbers. And if you want, you can send it to your accountant. And as I said, hopefully soon in the next few months, we will have also the ability to file your tax returns directly to the HMRC. So this is the profit and loss statement. How to review it, how to review expenses and income breakdown. I will do it again. Go to from the profit and loss expenses breakdown. You will see all of your expenses per category. And if you want to review just a specific category, you can just check the category. You can see the specific transactions and you can upload receipts. Okay, so we have now the session for question and answer. So if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat and I can answer.
We have one question here for you, Aviram. Can Lendlord, this is from Andy. Andy asks us, can Lendlord handle multiple currencies? In other words, if people have overseas property in the portfolio, for example.
Great question. So in terms of currencies, the only thing you can do right now is to change the entire currency from the settings. So you can select, we support like several currencies, but we are not doing the conversions and you cannot manage different currencies on different properties because we need to translate all the numbers to one currency and because of that, it's like an infrastructure work that we might do at some point. What you can do is you can put address, so I can manage international portfolio on Lendlord if I put everything in pounds, for instance, or in a currency that I choose, like dollars. So I will use Google Map for this. So let's take an address in which country you want, Nick, just for the example.
Okay, let's say, I don't know, Cyprus.
Cyprus. I wrote it correctly. Yeah, I think Cyprus Island. Let's take one address. You know what? Let's do it like this. Okay, so I have an address in Cyprus. I will copy it and I will put it here. Okay, so I have now a property in Cyprus. I'll ignore the postcode for now. Now I need to translate the purchase cost and the value to pounds. This is the limitation right now. I click down, and then on the map view on my portfolio, you will see your properties now internationally. So you will see that I have most of the properties around London in the UK, and I also have a property in Cyprus. So yes, so if you have a global portfolio with properties in different countries, the only thing you need to do is just to convert and like estimate the numbers in pounds or in the currency you choose that your account will be, because we support only one currency for one account. And then you can basically manage all of them and all the performance of your international portfolio, not just the UK one.
Okay, thank you for that. But I think it's fair to say to everyone that we are aware that people have properties overseas as well, and that it is something that is on our radar to potentially make happen. But thank you for that, everyone. Any more questions from anyone? Okay, I've got a question here from AP. Let me just have a read of it a second.
Yes, I understand the question. So I will, I think. So if I understand the question, it's related to transactions again. So let's say that you received a net income from your agent, okay, for like basically it's like, let's say that this is the rent plus the management fees, okay? So I'll create income from agent. And you received 500 pounds when the rent was 600 and the management fees was 100, just for the example, okay? So if you link your bank account, you will see it here on the transactions page. What you need to do, or if you track it manually, you can just click add transaction and add the transaction. You click on the split transaction. So you can split it. Okay, so this is the rent. And let's say that this is for this property and for this tenant. And let's say that this was 600. Okay. Now I need to put the management fee for this property. I will also categorize, and I will put 100. Okay, so total is 500 because 600 rent, 100 fee. I split, and then basically one transaction was split into two. And then I will allocate both of them. So now I have income of 600 and expense of 100. And I can also upload the receipts for this, so I can also track it with the receipts. Okay, so if I understood correctly, I'm not sure, like how you can split transactions.
AP says thank you. So I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, I think we're done for today. Thank you very much for everyone. Nick, you want to put some links on the chat?
Yes, and we'd obviously like to invite people to come see us next week, Abraham. So if you want to let
Okay.
them know about that.
So we will be on the Lendlord investment show on Tuesday. You remember the place, Nick? I remember, in London. It's very near London Bridge. And so we'll have a stand there, so come to say hello. And if you have a question, if you want to meet us in person, I will be there as well with the team. And I'm also running a seminar there at 12:50 at room number 4. So please join and meet us there. Say hello. It would be great to see you there. So you can go to the website of the Lendlord Investment Show. Yeah, Nick just put this link on the chat, and you can take your tickets. It's free. You don't need to pay to attend. Okay, and for new potential users, just sign up to the platform. And for those who watch us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel to get more content. Thank you very much. And this, yes, this recording will be available on our YouTube channel and also on Property Tribes tomorrow. So thank you very much. Kaylee, is the 12:50, the time of the seminar on Tuesday. Thank you very much.